Hi, I'm Marc Brown, and I write and illustrate books. I think you probably know me most for the books about Arthur.
I'm Rosemary Wells. You may know my name from Max and Ruby or Noisy Nora. In this instance, I have had the absolute pleasure and honor of working with one of my personal favorite other illustrators, and that's Marc Brown. And we have done a book together called The Gulps, and I can't say I have had so much fun in a long time as working with Marc, who's so incredibly talented, and in whose studio we now sit looking at his gorgeous artwork.
It was fun designing the sign for this.
I love the belly up. Okay.
This is such a treat for me because although I've not met Rosemary before we started working on this book together, I spent many hours reading her books to our children. I may be calling.
Marc Brown is one of the favorite writers and illustrators of my kids, and I have to say, Arthur was a huge hit and very popular in our house, and I probably read more Arthur books aloud than any other author and had to read them over and over and over, and there's a reason for all that repeating. They are well done.
Well, my wonderful editor, Andrea Spooner, came to me and said, if you could have any author in the world write a story for you, who would it be? And without any hesitation, I said, Rosemary Wells. And she said, I know her, or I think I know how I can get to Rosemary, and we'll see if she's interested.
And so she did.
And we met at a wonderful restaurant in New York City and had this dinner, and I started telling you about how I wished for this great story about history for a picture book audience, and then you told me why that was a bad idea.
Did I?
And I thought, oh, well, this isn't going to go anywhere.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this book came to me, and I thought this would be right. Because here we are eating this marvelous dinner together. Why not have a book called Good Food, Bad Food? And Marc responded accordingly. As a family, the Gulps live in a sweet dreamland of commercial TV and fast food. They are dear people.
And I think the Gulps kind of encapsulate all of what might not be the best of America, and that is consumption and overconsumption. And I feel that they're a little bit victimized by the media, and they have to have a lot of things. They're also manipulated by the media in the ways that they eat. And, you know, this isn't working out so well for them.
They have a little conscience, and that's their youngest daughter, Dawn.
And their youngest daughter very wisely points out that maybe there's a better way.
What it is in this book is the story of a very funny wake-up call. The wake-up call comes because their huge vehicle can no longer carry them, even downhill. And the wake-up call comes and they prevail. I didn't want to be preachy in this book. I didn't want to shake my finger and say, you shouldn't eat French fries. I wanted to do a really funny story. So we have a lot of props in the book, which are really funny and fun for Marc to draw. And you make it funny by having a very lighthearted tone and making the dialogue funny.
And I started out drawing humans, but I soon found, I think we both found, that that wasn't really going to work. There's something about removing the characters a little bit away from the reader that helps them embrace the subject a little more. And by using chubby bunnies, it became a lot easier for them, for all of us, to kind of see this story as something that was going to invite people in rather than push people away. I am inspired by real life. I think the best things happen in real life. You know, I used people from my own family as inspiration for these characters, and that's why I got really close to them.
That's funny, Marc. I thought they were members of my family.
There's also another wonderful plus about using animals, and I found this with the Arthur books. it's that any child, no matter what the color of their skin is, can identify with any of these characters because they're animals. And it immediately levels the playing field. Okay, I'm going to crack the eggs open here. Well, it's something that's important in our house. I know my wife Lori is, she feels very strongly about kids and us in our family eating healthy foods. Sometimes we don't like certain things. I remember her saying to Eliza, everyone is allowed one thing that they don't have to eat. Eliza picked tomatoes.
Oh my goodness. My background includes very much my daughter, who is an organic farmer herself. And I too care very much about what my family puts in its mouth and how it's prepared. I love to cook. And so we started talking about the idea of doing a book on food for kids. Here's to you, Marc, and our wonderful book together.
Here's to healthy eating.
You bet.
The book has made me really think about the habits and what I put into my body more than I did before I started this book. And I hope that's what kids will be able to take away from this book, to just think about what it is that they're putting in their mouth, because we do that kind of thing, that eating sometimes too automatically without thinking enough about what it is. And maybe the gulps will help kids go green too.